introductions.
Always. Thank you for your friendship.
No, truly my pleasure. It's amazing to be here. Thank you guys for the love. Thank you for being out here and supporting Miami Tech. And Melissa Medina, thank you for being so remarkable and unbelievable. Mother and a mother. No, I was going to say that here right now. I was going to mess around. Meaning a hard worker and gets it done. So it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Armando. Thank you. And joining him on stage is none other than the mayor of the 305, another incredible friend, also co-founder and CEO of OneOf, Lin Dai, and moderating the discussion, the amazing Kate Rooney from CNBC.
All right.
Get in the middle, boss. You're in the middle. You're the star here.
Thank you so much.
All right. These are really, oh, okay. We'll settle in.
I might need a little pillow or something.
Yeah. I love the sizzle reel. We were back there thinking, like, how do we get a sizzle reel? Lynn.
You need a sizzle reel.
I know, exactly. Guys, this is going to be great. Okay, mayor of the 305, Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide. We're thinking for Lynn, you're new to the 305.
That's
You're
right.
new. You're the new kid.
Yep.
So we'll start with you. Why'd you move here?
You know,
And by the way, 20 years in New York City.
20-year New Yorker.
New York, okay.
You know, the mayor put up a billboard in front of my window. Me and my wife came down for a visit, and my wife is Brazilian, and she's basically like, we're not moving back, right? So, you know, you got the climate, you got the, you know, the crypto forward policy. I had an opportunity to meet the mayor, really share our vision, and he was basically like, move your company down here, right? We can build here. And we started, you know, OneOf.com basically started last year. About a year ago, we were 3 people, and now we're 80.
So he knocked on your door. And it started with a tweet, by the way. I don't know if most people know this story, but the influx of tech and crypto people, you responded to somebody who sort of hypothetically said, oh, what if we moved Silicon Valley to Miami? And you said, what, how can we help?
Yeah, nobody knows the story. Nobody here knows the story.
Is anyone
Just like
on
nobody
Twitter?
knows who
Have you heard
Pitbull is. No, it was a moment in time where someone presented a proposition that was a lifelong dream. And, you know, Armando, I call him Armando, Pitt, he exemplifies what it is to catch lightning in a bottle and to understand that you can do things that you never dreamed of, that you never thought were possible. And when I think of the CEO of my corporation, which is my wife and my 2 kids, I think about, you know, and I said it earlier, you know, this moment in time, and I keep talking about, and I think words are very powerful. One of the things I've learned from Pitt is the power of words. And I've realized that this is not a moment, this is a movement. And, you know, and I think that tweet created that moment that shot us through a cannon, and the rocket ship moment.
Yeah. And Armando, you are Mr. 305. You grew up here, and you've been here in the last couple of years. What have you seen as far as tech and crypto people moving here?
Well, first of all, once again, I want to make sure that everybody here that's in Miami, y'all know that what happens in Miami never happened. So have fun, enjoy the city. It's amazing. That's why it's called Magic City for a reason, okay? And to be up here, you know, Lynn came from New York. New York's the Big Apple. Miami's the Pineapple, right? I just want y'all to get, you know, a quick little crash course 101. But more than anything, I want y'all to make some noise on how excited you guys are be here in Emerge Americas. Dale. Woo! Look, how this all started, Manny Medina, Melissa Medina, we met at a spot called Grove Isle. When we met there, it was almost like Jerry Maguire where they had me at Hello.
That's right.
And when they spoke about bringing tech to Miami, when nobody was paying attention to any tech company or startup that was coming from Latin America, it obviously, you know, it motivated me, inspired me, and it got me a little 38 hot, you know. It's like, man, it ignited that passion because I know what it's like trying to get in the music business and a lot of people not believing in you. So while these companies were getting laughed at in Silicon Valley, Silicon Alley, Silicon Paradise, sabe Dios what other Silicon there is, pero we opened Emerge Americas. And opening Emerge Americas, Mayor Suarez as well, being someone that supported a whole lot and had the vision. We have a saying, I always say it, pasos cortos, vista larga, short steps, long vision. And here we are 8 years later, not only talking about all the tech companies that have been very successful coming out of emerging Americas, but we're also talking about the fact that Miami is the new capital for technology, basically all around the world. We are now the Mecca and we are now the hub. I want to say thank you to the mayor for that, thank you to Manny for that, thank you to Melissa for that, and thank you to Felice for that. But it was all people that had the same goals, same visions.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I would never lie to y'all and tell you that I'm an expert at everything that's going on right now in the world. I do believe that we are building the plane while we're flying it, and I am a student. I'm a student of the game. Love to learn. So to be up here with Lin from OneOf, which we did a partnership, it's an NFT company. All right, got a little, I need my little cheerleading section too, look at that. But OneOf, speaking of vision and goals, when you share the same vision and goals, we spoke about a partnership, a true partnership, just like we've spoken about partnerships, and the same thing with Emerge Americas. And with NFTs, it's a brand new world. Yeah. But for people that are creative, it's very exciting. So to be partners with Lin, be partners with Quincy Jones, which is a living legend. True honor, true blessing. But more than anything, it just goes to show you, when you got that vision, and when you execute, you believe in yourself. That's why we're having this conversation right now and sitting in Emerge Americas and giving opportunities to those that need it the most in the world of technology.
We're going to talk about NFTs and the music industry. I think it's so interesting to see some of the use cases that are not cryptocurrencies, have nothing to do with things like Bitcoin that we talk about all the time. But you mentioned the capital of capital, Mayor Suarez. We've talked about this as well. New York and San Francisco, the Bay Area, are still #1. So what are you doing to sort of, change that up? Maybe take a little market share from those guys. You guys aren't quite there yet. You're still an underdog. How long until we see it as really the capital?
Other than the billboards and the nonstop, hustle, no sleep. By the way, I went to the Pitbull School of Branding, so that's how I came up with capital of capital. But I think when you look at the trend, right? So I obviously look at things from a Miami-centric perspective. We grew 200% year over year in venture capital deals completed, right? If you were to take that growth rate and you were to compound it for 2 more years, and it was a zero-sum game. In other words, our gain was San Francisco and New York's loss, we would overtake them in 24 months. So I'm not saying that we're gonna grow at that rate and that's all gonna play out that way. What I'm saying is that it's possible. And I think one of the things I've learned from Armando for a long time is, if you don't believe it's possible, then you'll never believe it's probable. And if you don't ever believe it's probable, then it will never be possible. And so it's a dream. We've seen things happen in the last 16 months, 24 months that I guarantee you nobody in this room ever could have predicted. I have people today that told me, hey, did you ever think that you would be talking to this person or that person just a couple of days ago? I mean, Lin's talking about, the age of his company, starting at 3 employees and being at 80 employees in a year, right? That's hypersonic growth. It's unpredictable. But I think what you can predict is some of the macro things that are making it possible, right? COVID obviously was a big thing. Remote work was a big thing. This generational opportunity and this change from the industrial to the digital world. We decided to take some chances. How many chances have you taken in your career?
Well, I tell people all the time, the biggest risk you take is not taking one.
Exactly.
And the teacher is the one that changed my life. She's the one that told me that, and we live by it. You said something about underdogs. We are underdogs. Miami-Dade County 305, we are underdogs. We always got counted out. They never believed in us, whether it was in music, whether it was in college football when we were creating the dynasty with University of Miami, whether it was the Heat, whether it was the Marlins. And mind you, we're still the only undefeated team ever in NFL history, and may Don Shula rest in peace. So all we know how to do is fight, scrap, hustles, and we don't mind getting dirty. Remember, I'm a pit, so when we bite, we lock.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, when you talk about Miami Spirit, I get a little boost up. I'm sorry.
A lot of hustle.
No, it's good. It's good to be the underdog.
Always.
Lin, all right, let's talk about NFTs. And you have been through multiple tech cycles. We talked about you were in Web 1, you were in Web 2, and now you're building a company for Web 3. Tell us this NFT project that you've got, or company that you've got, what it does for people who are not familiar with how you guys interact with artists and creators.
Yeah, just to echo what Pitbull was saying, like, I think crypto industry, blockchain industry in general for so many years has been the underdog, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's like we're the outsiders. It's like Silicon Valley wouldn't fund us, right? So, I mean, this is like so tremendous. The policies around the country, around the world are so anti-crypto for so long. And we're seeing a glimmer of hope of a shiny example where Mayor Suarez is really able to show, like, if you are actually, view crypto and blockchain and NFTs as the next wave of the powering the economic engine, like prosperity will come, right? Like we created so many like jobs here. Yeah. It's like unbelievable that we could do that. We couldn't do that in any other like environment. What we do is, I co-founded a company on the idea that music, right? And music has the power to really bring the next 100 million non-crypto native user onto blockchain through this gateway called NFTs, right? Like, how many fans do you have on Twitter? Like 30 million, 40 million?
On tour?
No, on like on social
Twitter.
media, right?
On Twitter. About 100 million. But from a humble standpoint, the whole globe is my fan. Nah, and I appreciate it for real. Without y'all, there is no Pitbull. I say that from a humble standpoint. Messing with you.
The NFT is kind of for the first time, it creates a two-way relationship between the artists and the fans.
And just to stop, because I know, we were just at Bitcoin 2022, so I'm assuming that everybody knows what an NFT is. If they don't, can you sort of give your explanation when you're going to a non-crypto person saying, hey, you should get into this, what's the upside, and how do you explain it to your mom?
Yeah, it's impossible to explain to my mom.
That's how I think about it. How would my mom think about this?
Like NFTs is kind of a digitally authenticated version of any digital asset. Like before this, we had 25 years of the internet where we don't own anything, right? Like you don't even own your own identity. So Web3 is so different where anything digital can be actually owned, right? Authenticated. It could be a piece of art, could be a piece of music, could be a video, could be an experience, could be a membership. The digital version of that is now possible. Now, like, what do you do with that? Like, and how do the artists and fans benefit, right? Like before this, we're talking about like this whole system where you had to, as a music artist, you had to go to the label, you had to collateralize your future earnings in order to get a deal, and then you perform for your fans, and you release music. It's always like, hey, please like buy my music or buy my tickets to my tour. Now, for the first time, the fans can participate in your career. If I met you 20 years ago, and I was like, wow, that guy got a spark, right? Like, I'm his first 1,000 fan. I could buy a Genesis NFT, which is kind of like a rookie card in baseball, right? So, and then I have your first piece of music, and I can prove that, like, I'm one of your first 1,000 fans. Today, that item that I probably bought for, $20 could be worth probably like $1 million, right?
And I'd love to hear your perspective too, Armando, while we're talking about that from a musician standpoint. What about that is appealing on your side?
Well, the reason that it's appealing is because what happens in the music business is just that. It's music business. So you go from having so much fun and making music, being creative, working with artists, to becoming a part of the business. Then you become a line item. They just worry about profit and loss and market share. And that takes a lot of fun out of making music and doing what you love. So with NFTs, since it's something that it's a variable with so many things that you could do with it, whether it's an experience at tour, whether it's me connecting with an artist, and not a music artist, but as far as someone that paints art, to create an NFT, through merchandising, through a song that nobody has. We're talking about NFT and something right now for the new song that's coming out featuring Zach Brown that's called Can't Stop Us Now, and how I got the idea for the record I was talking to Lin about. So that makes it fun again. That makes it exciting. Because to be creative, you gotta understand, being creative, there's no mistakes. You just gotta start, you gotta do it. And I always say, you don't make mistakes, mistakes make you. And when you're being creative, there are must-takes. You gotta take that risk. So that's what NFTs, to me, make it so much fun. It's a new world where we can actually be excited again instead of just making music for, because it's gotten to the point that you're not making music for people. I am, but usually what people are making music for now is to trigger an algorithm. So they're making music for algorithms. How do I get on this list? How do I get on this playlist? How do I do that? So now the quality of music goes down, right? So I've always been about quality over quantity, so that when you get to quantity, it's quality. always. And that's where the NFT, I think, is going to be real fun. And I'm excited about all the things that we're talking about doing.
Yeah, you know, when I first met Pitbull and started talking about idea for his collection, and you know, he's like, you know, what he wants to do, we were like, we need to show this to kind of the rest of the artist industry, right? And to really show a demonstration. So your 100 million fans, you never actually had a official fan club. So we're gonna make his first collection about the exclusive fan club for the holders.
And so I want to ask Mayor Suarez too. We're talking about sort of creative use cases for crypto and NFTs. You guys have done some interesting stuff. Not necessarily NFTs, but things like Miami coin that we talked about earlier. It's definitely an experiment on the economic side. I mean, what are you seeing as far as the potential here for you to do something, whether it's alternative ways of raising taxes, even raising alternative income for the city? What do you see as potential here on the NFT side?
Well, first I was talking to Pitt a second ago and I asked him what the name of the song was, Can't Stop Us Now. And I was gonna ask him if I could use it as a political slogan for my future.
Yeah, we'll ask it, all right.
Yeah. No, listen, I think the sky's, ever. So I think the sky's the limit in terms of how government can use it, from you know, things as interesting as, you know, selling the how can I help tweet as an NFT. That's something that we've talked about and Lin and I have talked about, to you know, charity, to smart contracting, right? And artificial intelligence layered on top of smart contracting that can help condense things like pulling a permit. No reaction? Nobody here is built in the city of Miami, huh? You know, going through a zoning issue or stuff like that. So I think that there are ways to disrupt. I got you. There are ways to disrupt things that take longer and that are hard problems to solve, because inevitably in government, it's an organization it has a hard time sometimes growing and shrinking with the ebbs and flows of a workflow, right? So I think there are hacks. And I think one of the things that defines us is we've tried to hack our way to the top in many ways, right? And find ways that we can accelerate the growth, because we all know that our most precious commodity is not the amount of Bitcoin that we have in our bank account, it's our time. It's the one thing that you can't get more of, you can't replicate, you can't duplicate. And so we've tried to be creative in ways to you know, push ourselves forward.
And it's interesting, all of you guys were sort of first movers in this and early. With that and taking more risk, there's also the reputational risk. I'd love to hear from all of you guys how you got comfortable with taking that risk and feeling like cryptocurrencies, NFTs, this new technology was something that you wanted to bet your name on, your brand on, and your career on in a lot of cases.
It's scary, I'm not gonna lie. It's scary sometimes, you know what I mean? I think you try to do as much due diligence as you can, but you understand that when you're taking a risk, there's a delta, right, between the due diligence that you do and the risk that you take. And I think there's a misperception in life oftentimes that when you take a risk, you can't lose, right? Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you succeed, sometimes you fail. That's part of life. If life were only success, then honestly, you wouldn't appreciate success, because it'd be the only thing that you knew. And so I think for me, it's important to realize, and I talk about this on CNBC when I'm interviewed, you know, about certain projects. You know, I'm like, look, if I knew exactly what the outcome would be every single time that I got involved in something, then, you know, then I'd be the, you know, most famous, richest guy on the planet, right? That's not the way it works. I think you have to, you minimize the losses to the extent that you can, and then you got to take a chance on something you believe in.
Absolutely, and we'll go down the line. Armando, for you, I mean, you've got this incredible career. You're getting into other things like investing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, when we sat up here, I asked Mayor Suarez, I said, hey, where are you going to sit? He goes, no, you sit in the middle. That's the hot seat. I was like, damn, he wasn't lying. Man, aquí salgo, no blanquito, salgo como color cartucho.
Chapica.
Yeah. Now, as far as investing in anything, in things of that nature, whether it be crypto, NFTs, look, there could be an expert up here telling you that they know it all. That's, and in layman terms, bullshit. Because this is moving fast, it's moving quick, and you gotta be able to pivot. Amen. You know, so therefore, everybody here is trying to figure this out at the same time. When you get with people who have, again, I say the same vision and the same goals, then you're able to pivot, okay? And you're able to go, okay, that didn't work, but let's try this thing, okay? You can't be scared to try anything. Like I said, biggest risk you take is not taking one. When it comes to the reason that I live in that world and I understand it so well, or like the Rasta say, me no understand, me overstand. So me overstand it so well. Why? Because in music, you gotta constantly reinvent yourself. You gotta constantly challenge yourself again. You gotta constantly listen to the fact that you're done, you'll never do it again. You can't, you don't, you won't, you're stupid, it's impossible. You know, and I tell, especially when I see kids out there, in the word don't is do. In the word won't is one. In the word impossible is possible. And as a matter of fact, it really says I'm possible. And in the word crazy, it's just crazy because you got to be crazy to try it again. Okay? So that's what we're up here. You know, thank you. We're all underdogs and we're all willing to take a risk, but it's for a greater purpose and a greater initiative. And that's what? We love Miami. He's new to Miami, but he's in love with Miami now because he sees what this city means to us and how much we have fought for this city to get to where it's at. Because those from the 80s in Miami, we know what kind of reputation it used to have. There was a lot of entrepreneurs in the 80s, just a different product. There's a lot of startups, you know. Now just look, now we're talking about NFTs, you know. ¿Cómo ha cambiado este cuento?
That's great. Well,
Now I'm feeling hot.
What? All right. So Lin, we talked about, you know, the transition here, but like I said, you've been through these multiple boom and bust cycles. You've seen the dot-com bubble. You've lived through it. How did you get comfortable with a risky technology and starting an entirely new company based on this? And
Yeah, you know, I think being an entrepreneur is about breaking rules, right? If every entrepreneur really just follow what the current rule is, we would not have YouTube. We would not have web browsers. We would not have like streaming services, right? And so it's about that. And I was yesterday. So Easter, there was an Easter egg hunt, and I had my 3-year-old, and I was like, there's all these kids, like hundreds of kids looking for eggs, and I was like, let's go, let's look where, he took the basket and he ran where the other kids are not, right? That's where entrepreneurship need to be. You had to go fish where nobody else is thinking, right? It's not about going after the 40,000, crypto whale that's like actively trading like NFTs right now. But, go to OneOf.com if you're in the audience. But it's really about our whole thing is let's be the bridge where the next 100 million people that's not even in crypto yet, let's show them how easy this can be.
yeah, that's interesting. Sort of skate to where the puck is going. I mean, I think a lot of people are looking for that opportunity. As far as music and what it means and getting a lot of these musicians, I mean, we talked about Doja Cat. What are you telling them and telling people like Armando in terms of the pitch of why you need to make your album an NFT versus just selling it the traditional way? What's your sort of explanation, and how do you get these people on the platform?
Yeah, we're so excited. So Armando, not just an artist that works with us, he's our global ambassador, right? Like we want him to basically show all the other artists how to do it, not just major artists. We work with everybody from Doja Cat to Whitney Houston, but also emerging artists, every artist. This is a tool that was doesn't exist in a music artist tool belt 10 years ago, 5 years ago, right? Like you couldn't fund your career using blockchain, using an NFT. You have to basically get to a point in your career where you are collateralizing your future recording income, your future publishing income, your future touring income with one of the major, labels or publishing companies. Yeah. Now, you actually have the ability to fund your own career with fans that actually believe in you and give them a taste of the upside in your career. So that is fundamentally just changes the relationship, right? Yeah. So that story need to be told. I mean, today we basically, we went live on with announcing Pitbull's collection, OneOf.com/Pitbull. You can find out more about that. But at the same time, we also announced our emerging artist program, right? So OneOf.com/cosign. This is exactly what the example we want to show. Every artist can do this. You don't have to be a world, Mr. Worldwide. Yeah. You can basically kind of take control of your own career. Music never owned itself before, and this is the opportunity to do that.
Well, I wonder too, Armando, if you had started now, you started your career now, is this something that you wish you had a decade, 2 decades ago? And is it cutting out any middlemen? Are there people maybe in the audience that should be worried?
They should always be worried. They should always be worried. Everybody always needs to be on their toes one way or another. Complacency is the cousin of death. Don't ever get comfortable.
Man.
Now, with that said yeah, it would have been amazing to have that tool. But I'm very proud of the journey that we've taken, and now to be able to be in a position to be an ambassador and a partner in OneOf to help protect the artists that are coming up. Just because you're speaking to the audience directly, which is priceless, by the way, you got to make sure that you're giving them a good product. And that, to me, is the most important thing. If you want longevity, if you're looking for, what comes quick leaves quicker. Me, I was always about a slow but a for sure. That's the way I looked at it. And that's why, even when we did the NFTs and partnered up with OneOf, I had been approached from every angle to do an NFT, but no one believed in a partnership. And he did. So therefore, now to be able to go out there and speak to other artists and let them know that I'm not gonna, your reputation is everything. It takes a lifetime to build a reputation and seconds to destroy it. So with my reputation, speaking of other artists and understanding their blood, sweat, tears, their hustle to get to where they're at, I'm not gonna introduce them into a situation that I don't feel is gonna be great for them in the future, And mind you, again, I'm a student of the game. I'm learning as we go as well. I think we all are, but it is exciting to give other artists that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's priceless.
And Mayor Suarez, as far as companies moving here, what have you seen? I mean, I don't know if you have stats, you don't have your laptop with you, but as far as NFT companies moving here and the interest in Miami versus, I don't know, hedge funds or pure crypto companies, what have you seen as far as sort of the cultural movement here?
So Pitt calls it slow but for sure. I call it fast, but it's gonna last. And so the amount of companies that are coming fast and furious, right? We've moved over $1.4 trillion in assets under management companies in 16 months. Wow. We're #1 in the nation in tech job growth. Yeah. Who would have thought? We're #1 in tech job migration. We're #1 in wage growth, and that's incredibly important in a hyperinflationary environment that we're in right now, where costs are going up precipitously. We are the happiest city in America, the healthiest city in America. We were #1 in pandemic recovery, and Financial Times named us the most important city in America. A couple stats there for you.
Believe it, yeah. So a lot. It's interesting too to see, sort of like I said, the cultural movement. I mean, I know you had Bitcoin 2022 here a week ago. It's all blending together. Yeah. But
Miami Tech Month is supposed to blend together.
Exactly, the month of April. But it seems very much like a cultural thing, as much as an investment thing. I mean, we talk about it on CNBC as an investment, but it does seem to have sort of a cool factor. People here say that they're accepting Bitcoin at restaurants, and we talked to a yacht salesman who's selling Bitcoin, or selling yachts in Bitcoin, but they say that it's very much a movement too. What are you seeing as far as crypto and NFTs becoming as much a cultural thing as an investment?
Yeah, the energy is different, right? Like I'm 20-year New Yorker. I'm here a few times a year, always for vacation, and there was no other tech people here. The last 2 years, completely different, right? You go to Soho House and it's like, oh, it's this founder, it's that people. Yeah. Like it's just like kind of the organic network opportunity plus all these conferences, events are just like the caliber of people that's in like the Miami circle. It's just like, it's so great. And like crypto is the next wave of culture, right? Like, because crypto represents a way of decentralized ownership of like media, assets, like actual ideas. So it's very, it's very natural. It's kind of things that like, kind of early blockchain adopters, like blockchain nerds like me have like preached for years, and it's coming to reality. You can see that, you can feel that, you can like taste that in Miami more than anywhere else.
That's really interesting. And as far as people being in the same room, I mean, I'm sure you run into investors. It just seems like it's bringing in and bringing together a really interesting group of people.
It's I've seen this happen before in another business, which is the music business. Yeah. Miami became the hub where everybody would come and do their records down here, would go to the clubs down here. They're always rapping about the records, rapping on records about what happens in Miami. It's like we don't have a problem with, we show love. We welcome people, okay? And we don't have a problem with people running away with our style, right? I'm gonna tell you what we do have a problem with. People come into our city, investors, and what we say, sacándole el jugo, which is, taking all the juice out of Miami and then running off and not doing anything for Miami. Now, that's disrespectful. So, thank you. Same way in music we made sure that people, for lack of a better term, wipe their feet on the rug when they come to Miami. And when they invest in Miami and they get involved in Miami, make sure they're giving back to the community, make sure they're giving back to the culture, make sure they're giving back to everybody from Miami, okay? And that's why another reason when OneOf, and obviously Mayor Suarez has helped us out a whole lot, we build schools called SLAM, not only in Miami, but across the nation. And I want to make sure that with this amazing influx and all the amazing things that you're doing for the city, from a political standpoint, which is more than political, you're actually getting it done, which is, I say politics is politics, but not this one right here. He does it. He don't talk about it, he be about it, so I really appreciate that. It's making sure, bottom line, that you give back to Miami, you give back to the 305, give back to Dade County, because we've worked very, very hard to be where we're at, and not just people come down here, invest, and leave. That's not what it's all about. This is about making this place. This is about empowerment. Like you said, not a moment, this is a movement. And that's what we want our living legacy to be. No, not what we want. It's what it's gonna be.
I love it. Well, Lin, I'd love to get your take on how you can use NFTs, and cryptocurrency in general. We've seen this happen with crowdfunding lately, donations, charitable goods. What have you seen, and what's the potential here on the NFT side? And then we'll get to Mayor and Suarez as well.
Yeah, when I was first introduced to blockchain in 2015, we were talking about how blockchain technology can be used for more than just financial application, right? And that's like stuck really true with me. And what we work with every music artist is like that we basically decide to donate part of the NFT proceeds to a charity. We're United Nations right here, right now, Climate Alliance official partner. But specifically, for Mr. 305, we decided to actually work together for his collection to benefit the SLAM charter school, right? Which is just like education for the next generation of like sports leadership and arts management, SLAM, S-L-A-M. And that's a project that he's been involved with for many, many years, right? So it was just like the way that the first time I met with him, the passion he spoke about in that were like, your NFT collection has to go like benefit like, this greater purpose, right? We're about like spreading the knowledge but like also educating and empowering a new generation of creators to with the knowledge and the tool to succeed.
Absolutely. And tell us what SLAM is. I know we've mentioned it a couple times, but for people who don't know.
Well, SLAM stands for Sports Leadership, Arts, and Management. SLAM is basically, it's a charter public school, which in turn, 97% of the kids that go to the school are on free lunch. So these are the kids that need it the most, kids such as myself. So to be able to create that with different companies where they get involved and continue to help the kids, because remember, the beautiful thing about what we do, we can create a curriculum around NFTs, around crypto, around the blockchain, and really teach them what the future looks like. Now, with that said, that's why I get so passionate about it, because I just don't want Miami to be cool and sexy. I want to make sure that this is, this is our reputation at the end of the day. And I want to make sure we protect our people and we fight for our people and moving forward, that they also benefit from this amazing influx, especially the kids who need it the most. I always say living is giving. And I'll tell you one thing, when he was talking about NFTs and Doja Cat, I think Doja Cat made so much money off the NFTs, she retired. She said, I'm retiring. She did, for real. I'm not playing with you.
Are we breaking news up here? Doja Cat retired?
No, she said, I'm quitting.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, you think I'm playing with you? It's not a joke.
I cover crypto. I don't cover...
You're going to look it up and she goes, oh, shit, Pitt was right. Look at that.
I love it. Okay, we're breaking news up here. Are you going to retire? You're not retiring anytime soon.
That deserves a hell no. When you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life, And it's a blessing to be up here, and I love working hard for the people that I love the most, which is everybody here.
We're getting the wrap sign, but Mayor Suarez, maybe last word from you on the potential here for NFTs or crypto to do good. We'll end on a positive note.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to do a different thing. First of all, I'm very proud of my good friend for not throwing one F-bomb. You don't understand how hard it was for him to do 45 minutes without an F-bomb.
It's not an F-bomb, it's an impactful word.
It's a world record
When
for
you
him.
utilize
It's a
it,
world
people
record.
remember it. That's all it is.
So that's the first thing I'm gonna say.
It's not over
I know,
yet.
I know. The
He's
second
got-
thing I'm gonna say very quickly is, to his point, everybody who benefits from this movement has to give back. And I wanna call out just two companies. One is SoftBank with Marcelo Claude, created the Miami Initiative when they got here. They invested $100 million, which turned into $250 million for Miami-based companies and companies moving to Miami. And then the other one was JP Morgan Chase with a conglomerate of organizations just last week or 2 weeks ago announced a $100 million tech equity initiative, $100 million. That's putting your money where your mouth is, and that's making an impact. Thank you.
Got it. Well, thank you, everyone. Gentlemen, it's been an honor. This is such a fun conversation. We could go 2 more hours, but they're wrapping us up, so appreciate it, all of you guys, the underdogs of Miami.
That's right. Truly appreciate it to everybody here. Enjoy Miami. Thank you for showing love and all the support.
Right.
And remember, what happens in Miami never happened. So have a lot of fun.
Thank you
Dale.
so much, Mayor Suarez,
go.
Armando, Lin, and Kate.
Great.
Miami is the capital of capital.